This scene is rather quiet. It could use some sound to be recorded. But how do we do that? Humans, cats, and aliens may I present to you the microphone. It comes in a bountiful array of workmanships, but only two of them have qualified their status over time. Just like night owls and early birds, or pepper and salt, or Democrats and Republicans. I shouldn't do that. It is the dynamic and the capacitor mic that we see as the aristocrats of audio engineering. Now, you wonderful ignorant creature might ask yourself,
dynamic? Capacitor? Where's the difference anyways? I don't even want to record sound.
but fear not. We will enlighten you in a second with our very, very wise wisdom.
The capacitor microphone consists of a diaphragm and several plates. When sound waves hit this thin plastic film called the diaphragm, it vibrates and changes the size of the gap between the diaphragm and the backplate. As that gap changes size, that creates a voltage that can be read off as an audio signal. For that to work, the microphone requires external power supply. The dynamic microphone also consists of a diaphragm. This thin diaphragm is attached to a coil of wire. When sound waves hit the diaphragm, the attached magnetic coil moves through the magnetic field, which creates electric signals via induction. This pattern of movement, caused by the sound waves, will be translated exactly into the current that is output by the circuit.
To answer this question, let's see what the microphones have to say themselves.
Ladies, gentlemen, and Andes, we will now compare the two gods of audio recording. Please welcome the dynamic mic and the capacitor mic. The capacitor may start.
Thank you for having me. I am the capacitor mic, and I work with 48 volts of power. Like that's a lot of power. And what was that? What's that supposed to mean?
You rely on external power. Like, you can't come up with that power on your own.
What's so weird about that?
I don't need another power source. I can do that with my own power. Ha!
Can't you at least try to be a little bit more sensitive? What's so hard about that?
I don't need sensitivity. I don't need to have a weird background noise.
You're being like cheap.
Cheap?
Yes, cheap. You're incredibly cheap. And
You're a knob. You think only because you're expensive you can buy the world?
at least I'm more natural than you. I don't need the costumes that you are wearing.
What do you mean?
Everyone is thinking this, but no one's brave enough to say it. You're only just another capacitor mic.
Fuck you. I'm taller than you.
I've heard that.
Marvelous. Although I always worship a good debate between microphones, I must admit that neither the capacitor or the dynamic fraud quite understood what it means to be diverse. Of course, they can both shine if you use them correctly. The capacitor, queen of the silence and the quiet and exact moments in life, clearly shows her abilities in moments like atmosphere recording. Studio situations.
Läuft das Band?
Das Band läuft.
Ja, herzlich willkommen zurück bei Gemischter Salat.
And of course in moments where a fine ear is indispensable. The dynamic king of the loud and extroverted is a blessed artist on the stage. When recording dialogues outside,
Don't we know each other?
No, I think you're confusing me somehow.
Oh. Sorry.
No problem.
or when performing insane stunts, like the universally feared mic drop.
Hello guys, welcome to today's ASMR episode. Our latest fan requests, types of microphones, was submitted by Wolfie Loves Cats. Ribbon mics are great when you want your recordings to sound natural. This type of microphone uses a thin aluminium of electrically conductive ribbon placed between the poles of a magnet to produce a voltage by electromagnetic induction that makes the ribbon vibrate. The lavalier microphone is used for film, television, theater, and public speaking. It has a transmitter and a receiver. The transmitter converts the audio signal it receives from the microphone into a signal that can be picked up by the receiver. It is transmitted wirelessly. The receiver receives the transmitted data and converts them back into the audio signal. The contact microphone can be used to amplify sound from acoustic, musical instruments and to record underwater under high pressure. A microphone designed to be in physical contact with the object. Tube mics are associated with warmth and roundness. They are generally used for recording voice and instruments. Tube mics pass their capsule signals through a tube before the signal is outputted. Its job is to effectively boost the signal while lowering the impedance. A pressure zone microphone can be used for piano recordings or be placed during conferences. The capsules are typically mounted in a flat plate or housing. This arrangement provides a directional half-space pickup pattern on the table. It may increase the likelihood of unwanted sounds.
It is quiz time! What microphone has been used for the previously presented ASMR? Wrong. It has been the capacitor microphone.
Now, after having learned so much that whenever somebody miscalled a microphone, you would aggressively correct them, it is time to apply our knowledge on the scene we saw in the beginning of this educational episode. First, we take our capacitor mic and record the atmosphere to have even the tiniest little details captured on audio. And now we can record the beautiful voices with our dynamic mic, which hopefully is not a fraud.
People, when they, say that they hate doing sound,
What about Foley artists? You know, Foley artists that I know. I find it exhausting.
It's not exhausting. It's not a Foley artist records something because the crew totally screwed up the original sound. That's hardly exhausting.
Yeah, but what?
So I think that's part of the problem, is that you can't hear it, you have to see it, you have to see what's at stake. I mean, look at these Foleys, look at them.
No microphones were harmed during the making of this intellectual essay.